The commitments. All right, there's the turn up on the volume as we'll get this party started. All US kids, if you're dreaming about playing footy, get yourself over there at Field 2. We have the clinic as the umpire holds the spirit of this great game alive and says, could this be love, this match between the Moines Roosters and the Minnesota Freeze? Away we go. Minnesota Freeze are kicking into the breeze, and that's the way it does go as the breeze has picked on up a little. Des Moines chop them off at the pass and got a wide receive. Will they make the connection? They do, and hold his ground is the number 6 for Des Moines, Benjamin Judge. Tommy?
Yeah, Judge played real well for us at the last cup, playing in the back, so he's real natural back there.
And of course, I've heard you talk on the spectacular, Tom, that you can pick a diamond in the rough out of the lower divisions. On his bike, gives it a ride there as Bailey booms it a full forward. No mark almost. Gets to ground. They've come to get down. Oh, 18 slipped out through the side door.
That's Josh Curtis there.
Josh Curtis shoots and scores. So on the board they are. Des Moines Roosters, one straight kick, 6 on the Cooper scoreboard. Minnesota yet to score. Tell us about a couple of those players there, Tommy.
Yeah, we actually saw Josh at our first camp early in April down in Dallas. It's the first time I got to see him. He's real new to the game. Young kid, and expect to see him in the Revolution jumper at some point.
Main umpires are Bitmead and Henderson, and goal umpires are Estes and Gravelli. Back in the middle, back again, and as we saw there, centre clearances from the get-go so important, Tom.
Yeah, with this wind too, you got to push it out, try to keep it out from the middle.
Up they rise again. No real indication who won that, but again it's going to be Des Moines. Quick, riding that Mustang at the chute. They shoot it out to the number 63 there once again. He was rope pulled and back of the deck. Didn't get rid of it, had priors, and Minnesota get the kick, Tom. They swing it wide, they connect lateral, trying to open up the ground to their number 8 unlisted. Marks it right half back. Looking, lets it rip and fly wide out on the full. Free kick there, Des Moines. Tom, how's this game breaking for you?
Yeah, right now they're just coming out, trying to feel each other out a little bit, trying to figure out which way the wind's going to be going.
They switch it back onto the highway. They connect with the number 16. Again, he's unlisted, but being prominent. Pump the jam, pump it up, pump it further. Looking for an ace in the hole. Smashed away by Minnesota. They kick without looking, but connect to their number 26. And here's a chance down the alley. Oh, little play fake without knowing it. Good undercut of the route there by the number 3 there in Flynn. Freeze at the forward door, but the back door man is 16 there for Des Moines, who gives it a roost to the middle of the ground, almost bodies in collision. Eyes for the ball only. If only I could pick it up, get it over the top. Nobody in particular. Closing again, Des Moines through Abdullah. Freeze, steal it like a thief in the night. Try to take him on, just got a kick to it. It is just forward of the centre circle. Freeze moving the chains to centre half forward, suddenly in their offensive region. Rip to the deck, get it, kick long, so often strong to the forward line. It's on its way, bounces off to the right and through for a minus score. 1 point there to the Freeze. They're on the scoreboard. They trail by 5 points and played corridor football on that occasion there, Tom.
Yeah, just pushing the ball down. It's a lot of effort to get it that way, but that's where you got to do it sometimes in a win like this against it.
Okay, Des Moines at a full back. Let's see what they play. The spread, the cluster, windward side, downwind, nowhere to go. So he comes to the defensive side of the ground, play it on, shakes and bakes the tackle. Open spaces, Des Moines getting a good beat and bootlegging around number 3 there, and come on within the mighty Flynn. What a mighty kick to a breaking player through the middle. That's that number 6 there, and Judge.
Yep.
Judge connects centre half forward with the number 7 there, and Schulzman. Schulzman is the man for the job, and it rolls like thunder through for a major. A good break, played a bit of corridor footy of their own there. The Des Moines Roosters, they move on to 12. Minnesota Freeze 1 point, Tommy.
Yeah, they had good spacing there in the middle. We're able to use the field.
Yeah, and the awareness too to get back into the corridor. I like that, Tom.
Yeah, I think that's where I would be heading to
Yeah.
all day.
And like I was talking to you before, you know, like we were talking about centre clearances and how important they are and getting the US players into the middle of the ground as opposed to the Australian players to get the experience of winning that first clearance.
Yeah, absolutely. It's one of the things that we just do not do enough of, and it's got to get into our DNA.
Out the outer side this time, the windward side of the ground, which is the scoring side, and the Roosters are mindful of that through Shieldsman once again. And can they break open and make it break it? Can they make it another? 2 in a minute. Well, the Roosters, they've come to kill the Roosters, but it ain't going to happen at the moment. They just shake, rattle and roll into 18, Tommy. 3 straight, lay 'em straight 18. Almost on cue there. We spoke about centre clearances and the frees are 1 point.
Yeah, and I think the thing that they're doing real well is just getting the ball down there as fast as they can with their foot and letting the wind do the work.
That's right, and we see a bit of that in the 6-6-6. That's another story where the game back home has gone into more of the longer kick coming out of the centre compared to keeping possession. And the other thing that people don't realise, when the ball does go in long and strong, if you're a defender, you start to panic, you start to hold, you start to give away free kicks. That's the other thing that they talk about with the long game.
Yeah, it's all about pressure, and that can be with somebody or just in the pressure you put on yourself.
Pressure in the middle of the ground again, using the breeze. In fact, the Moines have probably used the breeze the best from what I've seen on this field, taken by the number 2. We've got to do a little bit of that action ourselves towards centre half forward. Very open forward line foot race. They turn back like they're running back to old man Johnson's farm. Des Moines bootleg to the right, keep possession, straighten up, smothered by Minnesota, trying to keep it within the region. Backdoor man can't find it. Des Moines, they've got some leg speed too, Des Moines. Don't mind going long to the centre of the ground. They make the hook up, make the connection on the bounce, and light the jet, says this Rooster. That Rooster is the number 22 there, and that man Judge again, we'll talk about him. We've seen him a few times. The number 63 also is Bailey. Bailey goes boom, baby, boom. Out of his booming right foot and shoots and scores. That's 4 in a row, Tom, in quick fire succession. 4 straight, 24. Minnesota 1 point. They're on a blitz, the Roosters.
Yeah, it all started with Coleman in the back. He got in front of the long kick, defended, he kept fighting and fighting, got the ball back, and then they were able to move the ball up. So that's just the defender starting with the offense in the back.
Comments there from the US Revolution coach. And again, he'll be announcing his squad in a week or two as they're on the road to Australia in 2020. Under some great coaching with Tom Ellis, Jason Becker. Is the Big Show still involved?
He is not, but we still got Stars is still with us, Dan Sarbacher.
Ain't no better in the country. Pioneers of this great game, represented their country with distinction. Now Des Moines Roosters, I've got to get on my bike and ride and pick this up. Can I get a good beat on it? I can. Number 2. Number 2 to Des Moines, there was Abdallah. Blanketed it well by Minnesota. And they hold it up somewhere between the right half forward flank and the right full forward pocket. Okay.
Yeah, this is what Minnesota needs to do. Yeah. They've got to get the ball down in this end a little bit, give themselves some points.
Out of bounds on the full, in fact. It's a good line drive up and hooking up there with Judge. Gee, Judge. We can judge him already. Oh, that's a good lead too, strong lead. Deep from in his forward line region. That man again, 63, is Bailey. Goes boom, the last goal kicker. Can he make a hook up there? No mark taken. Des Moines Roosters on the outside. They cut back inside to their number 10. 10, unlisted, unbelievable kick to the forward line and an unreal mark, if you will, with all the pressure bearing down on him like no man is known. Do we know his number? It is number 3, tight angle, and that is John Flynn, another player who's been prominent, and Flynn has travelled a lot of distances in this match. We've seen him in the midfield now, lining up from deep in the left full forward pocket, rockets it forward, allowed for the breeze, and another one. These guys are on a rally, 5 goals straight from a very tight angle. That's 30. Minnesota a 1 point, Tommy.
Yeah, that looked really good. It started with Judgy in the back. He kicked it to another American, to Peter Bailey. Bailey kicked it over to Caleb, another American. That's what all looked up right along that line.
Wow.
So it's good to see.
And depth running, Tom. I know you've spoken about athleticism, and I know you've got the regimes in place for your players, and it really, really shows, mate.
Yeah, I mean, if we're going to win that cup, we put the level on them. We're going to be at AFL levels for fitness and things like that, and the guys have done a great job with it.
Flynn, enormous amount of ground he was covering there, but can Minnesota get back into the action? All Roosters in front. Number 7 diving in was Schulzman, who started off like a beat in a drum. They've moved it out to the alley right side, an explosive pace again, and explodes off the boot to centre half forward into the Freeland. Across the Freeland here in Sarasota, Lakewood Ranch, reel it in like that, abracadabra. I need a little support, I've got it, can I pick it up, turn around and shoot? No, I go back a little bit wider, didn't connect, ball towards the boundary. Minnesota must arrive on the scene with support. Umpire said no, let it play, and over and out on the outer side. But that is the attacking side of the ground for Des Moines. Can you explain the attacking side of the ground to the public out there, Tom?
Yeah, the wind's blowing across right to left. So if you put the ball over on the right side, it makes it a lot easier as you're kicking towards the goal.
Up and away, back tap by the Minnesota Freeze ruckman, almost a set play. Suddenly they have it in the center of the ground. But they've got them reading about it better. That one man behind the play was the number 2, and Abdallah, who's been prominent too. And the connection, impressed by this D4 side with their skills, the Des Moines Roosters, Tom.
Yeah, it's actually been really good to see. This is a D4 squad, and the skills have definitely picked up.
Good kick, forward line, no mark, snap on goal, didn't go all the way. Second chance, another smother. Who's there? There they go again. 63, you've heard his name there, and Peter Bailey, he might have brought up his second. On fire are the Roosters. 6 goals straight, I think they are now, Tommy, 36? Might even be 7 to 1 point. What do you do if you're Minnesota Freeze? Is it man-on-man coverage? What would you do if you're
you've got the wind that you're dealing with right now, so you just got to man up right now and make it as hard as they can for him to bring the ball down. It was good to see Peter Bailey there. We saw him at the camp earlier this year also. That's an up-and-comer guy that I expect to see on the Revolution at some point.
Unbelievable, this D4 match. You know, back in the day, you'd know this was a D4 match, but this is as good as anything I've seen today, as high as D3, D2, the Des Moines Roosters. I know Chico.
Oh, I just figured it out. It is a D4 game. Plugger's on the field.
Oh, of course. Plugger. It's down to Powers and Plugger in their 23rd year to see who's going to hold the mantle. And there he is, Paul Plugger O'Keefe, is it? The co-founder of the league. Look at him, trim right down for this Nationals. Gives it everything he's got, baby, and that's a lot. He'll drive you crazy, but he's turned the boat. He's rocked it over and given it to Des Moines. Des Moines now go the spread. Hook up with that man Judge, and Judge is looking to run the alley, and then boot it down long to the forward line. Flat liner, breaker, 1-9er. Minnesota pick it up. Des Moines kick it towards the open pastures, pump it towards the boundary, over and out, left full forward pocket. So Mike Powers is out there. So it was Paul Plugger O'Keefe playing with the Minnesota Freeze. 23 years. I know it's 20 for you, Tommy. They've got 3 on you.
Yeah, it's pretty impressive to see him out there playing still. It's great to see. You know, he was a manager for the Revolution for a long time. A lot of stuff in my life changed just because of guys like that.
Curtis, bootlegs, long forward line, another one. Soccer from point blank by the Roosters, and they just keep on trucking, if you will. 7 goals straight are the Roosters, 42. Minnesota 1 point. Gee, Tommy, hey, tell me all about it.
Yeah, they definitely got some legs going right now. They're still running. Minnesota's playing catch up with this win. They've just got to try to stop that ball, just the possession game at this point, to try to slow it down.
Judge knows how to create some space too out on this alley, and his team know how to get to him. He travels at breakneck speeds across the ground quickly, that is, and uses the ball pretty well. Back in the middle, back again, 100% pure USAFL football. They rise above me, smacked down by the Roosters, chopped off by Minnesota Freeze. Dance the old okey doke, and okay, let's let it fly to right half forward. 2-on-1 situation. Des Moines, what about the Shepherd to protect his brother, shelter his brother from the sauna? Good mark. Somewhere up there in the atmosphere, the number 2 for the Freeze. Freeze had the presence of mind to swing it inboard, didn't make the connection. Oh, poor Plugger O'Keefe. Spins into the pack, gets rid of it. Turn it over once again. Des Moines, break me, shake me, take me over to left half forward flank. Look at this push down. We're talking about the depth running before, and this is John Flynn. Depth running. Rivers it towards the top of the square, almost like a set play. Presence of mind, the unselfish decision by Flynn not to have a shot, but put it back into the danger zone. And the number 63, Bailey, had read it well. Almost set play-ish, Bailey. Point blank.
It's good to see an American right there stop and not keep pushing in and put himself in a good spot.
Bailey. Should be elementary. Yes, it is. This Division 4 side has showing us that they have been the best at utilising the agencies of the breeze from what I've seen today here on Cooper's Field. 8 goals straight, 48. That would have to be one of the highest scores, if not the highest score on this oval thus far. Not even half time here. Chico and the boys will be very happy about this. And this is our match leading us into the afternoon session. USAFL.com on Go Live Sportscast. Tell your friends and neighbours down under, anywhere around the world. We had Adam Woods give us a shout out, the pro golfer, and they shouted out loud towards the wing here, Minnesota. But the defence of Des Moines Roosters pushing up. Presence of mind to dance. I can really hit the floor and give it to you know who. Curtis. I'll give it to me. You give it to me. I'll give it back to you. Overcooked it. Second time around had Priors holding the ball. The freeze now have the free kick.
I like what they're trying to do there. Just need to give themselves a little more space.
Thanks, Chet. Hi, Jen. Talk to you soon. They have it now again, Des Moines Roosters. Roosters rev it up, give it a ride towards the boundary. Probably not too bad because there was nothing on over the back. Bailey looming, and they can set it up for here. Tommy, are you starting to structure? You have structured set plays with boundary throw-ins?
We do. We've gotten to that level now where we can actually do that.
No real advantage there. Tackling by the Roosters. The freeze just got it out to the deck. Roosters pounce, rev it. Look at this, open spaces again for Flynn. Come on with that. I'll knock it over to Bailey. I'll straight, super straight Bailey. Bailey, has he? Oh, a minor blemish. So that comes around the 8 goal mark. 8 goals, 1 now. Des Moines, Minnesota, 1 point. Bailey, and what about your structure in the forward? Do you believe in power forwards, big bodies like Bailey in the forward line, or do you go in small, Tommy?
We like to go with speed. We play within a kick and a half of the ball at all times, so we like to run all over the yard, clear it out, and then go back in.
Made the connection, hit the deck, so they keep themselves alive. Dancing the okie doke, the freeze. Freeze fandangle towards the wing. Was it over and out? Yes, it was. Ball over and out, and the boundary umpire, like a wheel, I'm going to spin it back into play. Play action here. Go Live Sports, the tent, Cooper's tent. The beer is open. Get yourself a red Solo cup and start a party. Party here is at the left half forward flank. That's where the party will be Sunday night too. Nationals. Big bomb, baby. Big bomb there by the number 18 and Joshua Curtis. And Curtis makes no mistake. 9 goals, 1 now. Des Moines, Minnesota, 1 point. Curtis does impress, Tom.
Yeah, he looked really good for us at the camp in April. It's the first time we'd seen him. He's a young kid, super fast. He was one of the kids we did some sprint contests. He was winning a lot of those sprints.
Back in the middle. Back again. 100% pure love of football. Sport of Kings, better than diamond rings, football. Go Live Sports. Tell you what, this will be one of the replays I'm going to be watching definitely and dissecting this Des Moines Roosters outfit, Division 4. Can't believe the standards. When the standards are like this at the lower levels, you know that we have come a hell of a long way. Up we go once again. Freeze, win it on down. Breeze picking up. Picked up like that by the Freeze, but they were iced. Caught actually without the ball. You have to be in possession. Didn't have it. Tackled. Now for the Freeze in the middle. Still against the Breeze, and it's picked up a few knots, if you will.
Yeah, at this point, Minnesota's need to do a little bit of possession football right here.
Special comments there from Tommy Ellis, the US Revolution coach, and what I like is their first couple of steps, Des Moines too. They really, like a Mustang, get out of the chute. They shoot it out to Flynn on his wing, having a birthday. Almost like happy birthday to you, the number 6. You've heard him judge. Judge now, slant right inboard, backs himself, right foot, misses everything. The barn, the fence, the Chevy, and into the haystack it went. Out of bounds on the full. Just a presence of mind too, Tom, to slant right back in.
Yeah, and you saw Peter Bailey there too, put on a shepherd, so it's good to see an American that's pretty brand new to the game to be able to pull that off.
Go Live Sportscasts. Thank you there for the coverage. Get it right plurally. In goes the freeze. Sorry, Kel. I'll get back on that. Maybe a couple of Henry Rollins quotations. We'll win a few points back. Des Moines towards the centre of the ground. Good mark under pressure. Strong, big bodies. Strong, like the strength, the ability to break through banks of the United States, but he will not there in the number 4 there. And Jacob van der Ploeg. Now, he's a player. He might have been interchanged on Tom. I don't think we've seen him, but again, another big body player. Power forward with the payload here. Breeze right to left, sends it high, but will drift away towards the pocket. Still alive, kept it in, shot on goal. Is that our hooter and not someone else's? It is half-time here at the football. Des Moines Roosters with the highest score on field 1 thus far. 9 goals, 155 in a splintering display full of US talent to the Minnesota Freeze. 1 point. Tommy Ellis, I heard you speak on the spectacular. And I spoke to you there in the tent a little bit earlier, talking about that US Revolution squad. In the spectacular, you spoke about the fact how you keep your eyes on the lower divisions and trying to pull a diamond from the rough. I hear there's 3 or 4 players that you've seen today. One player in particular you have not seen before, who you're thinking about putting on your squad.
Yeah, there's a few out there that you haven't seen, but just the potential that they've got. We're gonna name our top 20 that are gonna go. Like you know, pack your bags, you're in, and then we're gonna have another 15 that are gonna fight for that last 8 spots. So a couple of these kids I've seen today that we haven't seen at all, I might end up putting on that 15 just because we're so impressed, and we think over the next year we can develop them and they'd be an asset to the club.
All right, we'll leave it there. We'll take it down to Chris. We'll have a short break and catch you in just under 7 minutes. What, you leaving? Sportscast. Yeah. Sportscast. So you go down and say, oh, geez, that's a trick for players. That's all right. Nice boots. I bet you say that to all the boys. You don't. Shed. They are in a groove at the moment, the Des Moines Roosters, up against the breeze, and we'll see if they do anything different towards the breeze, Tommy.
They've got the legs right now, so I expect they'll do pretty well with this. Minnesota's just got to stay nice and tight on the player.
So as a national coach, you'd be telling your boys to run it?
Yeah, absolutely. Run as much as you can. Keep possession footy going.
Freeze, though. They said, well, we've got to get the first one in this last dig of our second round match, and they're on their way. Right half forward flank into space. Normally if you hit the grass, back to the forward will get there first. Not on Des Moines' watch. Left half back wide. Undercutting the route well was that wingman who just kicked it previously. Taps forward, trying to generate some run around the ball. Des Moines won't have it. But one thing I did notice there was a look-away kick, lucky to connect it on the outer side. This is what they do, Des Moines. They go wide on the spread and they look like coming back inboard on the angle. That's the nature of their play. Freeze, though. Clean it up like that. Clean up their own backyard. Get it out of there towards right half forward towards their front yard and hopefully closer to the goals. Bootlegging around Des Moines. Gets a little help from his friend. Friendly fire up the ground. Connect. Went the distance. Now long. Go strong. Go high and falling fast. Two Des Moines Roosters. Communication breakdown. Have an outrider. Get those quick steps away and away we go to full forward. Good beat on the ball to Freeze. Have to get rid of it by hand. Good push up by the number 8 though in Anthony Daly. Daly shot on goal, misses to the right hand side and through for a minor score. Cooper's tent starting to fill. Get your ticket to ride with Cooper's inside that red Solo Cup. Get that hand in the air. Scoreboard 9 goals to 56. Minnesota 1 point. The Roosters hybrid side versus Minnesota Freeze hybrid. Kind of like frozen out of full back at the moment, but good play. Didn't connect. Ball out the back. Closing. Stay on target and closing. Handball smashed away. Fist of fury to the Freeze. Back again on the rebound to that man, that number 18 there, and Curtis. Curtis kicks wide and out of bounds, out of side.
Curtis gets a lot of ball, brand new American kid. I think as you see him progress over the years, you'll see him do more and more of that.
Yeah, one of the things we are seeing by the Roosters this time is blazing away a little, not keeping the eyes down, Tommy. Can you explain keeping your eyes down?
Yeah, once you look up, you know where goals are. Then you just got to keep your head down on the ball when through the kick.
All right, and here we go. Des Moines creates some space and time. Freeze, build the wall, smother. Out the outer side and over that white line, and we will do it all over again. You can follow the US Revolution online at USAFL.com. There's a sub-tab there, Tommy, and also your social media. You do a lot with that to keep an eye on the Revs.
Yeah, we'll be relaunching our brand after the Nationals this year.
Yeah.
So you'll see a lot more stuff on Facebook, on Instagram, all that involving the Revolution.
And also, always looking for sponsorship. I mean, you're going to the land down under in 2020 into the mecca of football. So if you're a sponsor and you're looking to get your product looked at in Australia, why not jump on board the US Revolution? If I'm a sponsor, how do I contact you, Tom?
Yeah, you can go on to our Facebook page, connect me there. My email is tom.ellis@usafl.com. You know, we also last year went to Ireland, and we're going to go to Croatia this year. So everything that we do, you know, we're getting the brand out all around the world.
Bixler, shot on goal, misses the left-hand side. Maybe getting tired legs. They move to 9 goals, 3 now. The Roosters. And just explain that program too, Tommy. I know, like 2 years ago when you went down under, you took your A team, but you had more players underneath your A team, and you promised them a trip to Ireland, keeping your guys interested in the lower ranks of Revolution with international trips. Sounds amazing.
Yeah, it's a good way to get more coaches involved. It's a good way to get more management going for these long trips. They can learn. It's just all around keeping guys involved in the program.
Roosters, Minnesota dropping almost all their men back towards the boundary, which way to go, but look at that, 2-on-1 situations. The Roosters ain't going to stop until the sun goes down. Wild kick out of defense, and the pressure that was beset upon the Minnesota Freeze has paid dividends. The number 6 is Benjamin Judge. Judge, he loves going inboard like this. Well, why wouldn't he? Superlative kick and hooks up there with the number 16.
That's Caleb, another American. So you got another hookup with 2 Americans going through.
And on the third, good spinorama twice, double spin, then the backdoor man, happy to be the backdoor man. 7, Theodore Schleisman slices it towards full forward. Des Moines still in possession. Went the bounce, might have had Priors bundled out. Throw in. Gee, that Judge does impress, Tom. First look up inboard.
Yeah, nice and calm. He keeps his eyes open going around. It's good to see.
On the toss, Ruckman, full possession there by the Rooster. Shot on goal, the number 4 didn't make it. Back to the freeze, handball through the front door. Let's get it out of here, said the Joker to the Thief. Can they steal it before the white line? They can. Number 7 is Schleisman, but it was deemed to be over and out. And we will have a boundary throw in.
I like this number 2 from Minnesota defensively. He's doing a really good job. He's getting a lot of ball right now and staying real calm when he gets it. When he's under an amount of pressure that's just immense. So I really like how he's playing.
Big ruckman. We'll see who'll jostle for first division, for first position to the ball. Man-on-man coverage at ground level. Hard to get it out of there. He'll be breaking through the packets over the top, in fact. Good awareness there by the Minnesota Freeze player. Got a good read on it. Just didn't come his way. And I got to know, say, the Des Moines Roosters. A little bit of man-on-man there. Keep it flowing. Play on is the word. Tackled without it. Yes, he was. No, holding the ball. Had Pryor holding the ball opportunity. Once you're tackled, you've got to get rid of it by hand or foot. Going the way of the Roosters. 37. 3-7 is Zach van der Ploeg. It's like a LA freeway ahead of him, so he sends it inboard, makes the connection once again, Tom. Just the presence of mind to leave it open too in the forward line, not crowd the open space, and the timing of getting into the zone.
Yeah, and with the wind, they're kicking into the wind, so it's going to drop short, so moving up that far was a good move.
Joshua Curtis, flat range kick, and another mark. No, touched off the boot, called to play on. Presence of mind to hook up with a buddy. Turnaround shooter was wide and out on the full.
That's one of these times they just need a little more patience down there. Move the ball around, you got plenty of time.
One of the things you see around this time too, Tom, in the second match is, in the second half, is the fitness factor. This man's not going to stop, like I said, till the sun goes down, and Benjamin Judge and Garth Brooks fashion freeze out of the pack. Long option wide, looking for the space at the back of the pack. Minnesota, this guy, Benjamin Judge. I ain't the one to judge, but that is Judge up, forward line, smash mouth away from the pack, freeze, handball through, can they make a break? No, corralled in by the Roosters. 18, here he goes again on his own, going down the only highway he's ever known. Curtis couldn't get through, roadblock, needed to smash it at 98 and keep those trucks rolling. They are shot, roll in, and rolling like on a river with Peter Bailey. And Bailey finally gets them back on the rails. 10 goals, are they? 10 goals, 3, Tom, I believe. As I raise the binos, 10-3, 63, leading Minnesota 1 point. Bailey, quick release.
Yeah, I'd like to see, at that point there was 34 guys down in the square. So I'd like to see them pull out a little bit, hold your structure. Even though you're up at this point, you still want to hold your structure as a team.
Well, they call the flood, so Tom, you push your midfielders back. Do you ever flood, or you'd prefer to have the skeletal system through the ground there when you've really got to defend like that?
Yeah, I'd like to have your walls built up right there, especially in this kind of a game where the wind is blowing. If they do get the wind, they can kick it out over the top of you. All
right, comments and an insight into the mind of the man who has the whole USAFL world in his hand when it comes to national duties. A man who has been down to Melbourne numerous times to represent his country, and a man who has won 8 Division 1 championships. Tom Ellis is revered. Des Moines Roosters, unbelievable to Jaconian those boys, just to show you are putting on today and an improvement in your performance of the years gone by. Levels really up. This is the only real blowout I've seen, probably caught holding the ball slung down to the ground. Let's get behind the freeze now. We've got someone free in the middle of the ground, can't make the connection. Got to get on your bike and ride. Well, we've been doing like all afternoon, have the Des Moines Roosters like bicycle. I like to ride my bicycle. I like to ride it where I like. And we like Judge. Judge takes his third bounce. Top of the square, danger zone. High into the danger zone. Zone now being cleared by the freeze. good mark out there to the Rooster. Number 3 being there in Flynn. Flynn, another prime mover, probably on the edge of his reality. He's the real thing, or even better than the real thing out wide. Took his eyes off the ball, was the 16. Unnamed. Steps inboard and says, well, what about me? Am I a goal kicker of some notoriety? Not. Misses the left-hand side. Dutchie to left-hand side. Back to the Cooper scoreboard. 10 goals, 4. They are now 64.
Yeah, that was Caleb. Caleb went to Ireland with us last year, played very, very well. He really knows how to play the game.
He does, Tom. You can see what you're preaching to these boys is really sticking. Over and out, toss in.
You know, Caleb's another one of those guys that went and played in Australia, came back a much better player.
Yeah. So once the squad's announced, Tom, what's the next move after that?
We'll put together a camp probably in late January, early February, get all the guys together, go down there and narrow it down to the top 28.
As they get it down to the number 4 there, and Jacob van der Ploeg, another man of some size, a power forward for the Roosters. He's going to line up for their 11th. In between then, Tom, do you let the boys have a little layoff to January with regards to fitness and whatnot?
Yeah, they get off until after Thanksgiving, and then we get right back onto it.
Right. And issued programs, fitness programs, online hookups?
Yeah, we do all that stuff. I have running programs to keep their legs going, and then we have 6-week running programs that will start peaking them at certain times of the year.
Another shot on goal by Des Moines, off to the right-hand side and through for a minor. So keep your eye on the Revolution, the US Revolution, on the road down under. Good to see Andrew Hughes from AFL International and Community in the house. Long kick, Des Moines. Now here's a chance. Towards the middle. Again, is that Curtis? Number 6, Judge. Geez, he reads it well, Judge. Blessed with pace. Eyes up football, looking for options. Who does he find? Is that Chacon? Marks the number 35 with a tear in his eyes, I guess. Sean sends it down the line. Couldn't quite just keep it in, but have gained valuable yards.
That's one of the things Americans are starting to get better at. If you see Judge right there, he used his eyes to move people across the field. A lot like a quarterback throwing a pass over the middle. You look people off, and then he came back to where he was originally trying to go. So you're starting to see more Americans picking that stuff up.
Here we are with the freeze, outclassed, but still ain't gonna lay down. Tackle by the number 7 in Theodore Schleichman for the Roosters. And it was caught holding the ball. Number 7, Schleichman, slice of heaven towards the forward line. Freeze holding up pretty well there last line of events though, Tom, if you consider how many times it's been riveted back as it has this time. Freeze just couldn't keep him out, but that last line of defence by the Freeze can hold their head up pretty high. Number 8 having a shot on goal. That's Anthony Daly. Daly, has he dobbed it? Yes. Like lightning splitting the night straight through the middle there by Daly. So this is the one blowout I have seen. 65 now, 66, 71. 11 goals, 5, 71. Minnesota, 1 point. Tommy, your assistant coach, Jason Becker. Tell me about him.
Oh, I've known Jason since 2000. Played with him in Canada all the way back then. He's been involved with the Revolution ever since, really. There was a couple years in and out he would go, but he's been coaching a long time with 2 different clubs. He's a wealth of knowledge. Really good to have him with our group. And
you guys have been on the same page since 2003, I think it was, International Cup, the first one down under.
2002, yeah.
2002, in fact. This is the last line of defence I'm talking about for the Minnesota Freeze. If you consider how many times it's been pumped down there, they have competed at the highest level. Here they are once again. Don't have any names for them, but the name of the game now is to get into open space down in the alley, which they have. But they have all the answers, the Roosters at the moment. 2-on-1 situation, tap it out, getting plenty of supportive run. Cut through the middle like a knife to Bailey, who's shining like the metal on the edge of a knife, glowing in fact. Hook up a bit wider to the number 8 in Anthony Daly, who is having a day out. Sees an outrider, will honour that. And you've got to honour the outrider because he's travelled a distance to get there. The number 7 is Schleichman once again into the danger zone. Again, that last line of defence from Minnesota coming into the equation. Not a turnaround shooter, but a turnaround handball, and out the side door it went, spinning and shaking and baking out of a tackle, but he had prior opportunity. He did. Chance for Minnesota. Now Minnesota, their defence, they've been able to get out in the alley, but they just lack a little speed wide, Tommy.
Yeah, they just have not been able to clear it once they get it out of that front 50. Just don't have the wheels for it.
Des Moines, clever play. You are the tune, I am the words, play me, he says, and one of those kicks that slice through an inboard, not to the square, not to where the congestion is, but in front of that, leave the zone open, then once it's kicked, converge. 22-2-2, Jacob Judge, easy to judge this one through for a minor score.
It's on the back of the cart, and it looks like it's heading to the other field.
Don't forget to get your merchandise too. I believe if a line that you like is sold out, you can put an order in and it'll be FedEx to you. 4 and 20 pies, hot sauce out there, Jan, Red, TBS, Total Beverage Solutions, another sponsor, and Coopers, of course. Again, Des Moines just ain't gonna stop. Handball, 7, you can see Schleisman, prominent in the last half, through the front door again to space and time. Couldn't get a beat on it. But they barge back in and it's caught in a trap. Can't get out because they love it too much, baby. The umpire comes in and says, give it to me, baby, and to the air. To the air. Get your hands up. Up they go. Smack down. All Des Moines using their body. Ciccone in there. I like the way they almost played that pick and roll through there, Tom. Use the body to block. Clear up a lane. 41 you see. Snap on goal. This time, no. Swoosh. Across the right side of the right post and through.
Minnesota's happy to let them have the points at this point. Let it roll through. Try to clear it again.
Yeah, good body. Good. It reminds me of basketball the way they play, Tom. When you play that defensive situation, allow an alley for me to get through. Under good guidance are the Des Moines Roosters. Minnesota Freeze, like I said, standing firm. Now here's a chance to get it out wide in the alley. Couldn't quite mark. And you've got to also remember a lot of these players in Division 4 are first timers and made their way to the Nationals just to be a part of it. So everyone is a winner in the USAFL. I can't believe how long Paul Plugger O'Keefe's been on the ground. Normally Plugger plays about 1 or 2 minutes, comes off, but here's a brand new man. Look at him, like Brooks and Dunsey. Trimmed down to something like 125 kilo now, down from 150. Not quite, and he'd have to be all of about maybe 52 years of age, Plug, and still going strong. And we spoke about the Mike Powers and Paul Plugger O'Keefe. When you see that man out there go and shake his hand after the game, a founder of the league. His vision and loving the vision that he's seeing at the moment and competing at all levels. Travelling great distance to get here. Will not miss one, the co-founder of the league, Paul Plugger O'Keefe. Inboard, freeze, fandangle it out of defence. But again, the Roosters, they skedaddle across the ground like that with power. All the power of that chicken out of some Rocky movie. Greasy, fast, lightning speed is what we need. We'll settle, though, with tempo. Pushing down well the midfield. Gather it, but just before the attacking reason. Enter now. High into the danger zone. Umpire calls play on. Again, this last line of defence of Minnesota. G's been very, very impressed with them, too. Good body use. Didn't let him out of his side. It's okay to put your body on the other player as long as you don't put your hands in the back, Tom.
Yeah, it's like right now, that's what they've got to do. They're struggling, but they're still doing it, and it's impressive.
Yeah, as I said, takes all types in Division 4, and everyone's a winner. Some here for the very, very first time, and they're going to love the experience like everyone does back every year. The family growing every year, and still the game plan of Des Moines is same as it ever was from the get-go. Just the way that time they distribute it around the arc. Still a lot of work to do with the number 41. Gives it all of his loving high, rise, no mark by Daly or anybody. Oh, here's a snapshot out of goal, out of absolute nowhere. Minnesota say it was touched off the boot, and the umpire does concur. 1 point to the Des Moines Roosters. Tommy, I'll just have a quick look of what's coming up next, with games coming up at the 3 o'clock mark already. Here in Cooper Field will be Houston versus Nashville. That's Division 2, Group A. Ball out of bounds. Again, So this has been the defensive side of the ground, Tom, and what we've seen from the Des Moines Roosters, they know immediately to try and cut back in around the arc and try and get it back into the attacking region, top of the square even.
Yeah, they've done a really good job with that all day. Even on the other end, they were still doing that.
Here's a different colour, and up we go, forward line. Again, that defensive Minnesota Freeze, out of bounds on the full, did clear the zone, shot on goal, perhaps from maybe 40 yards out.
Into the wind. It's a little tough shot here, but he definitely could probably put it up at the top of the square.
Normally the way to go. Number 2 is Abdallah, being handy. Look at this, inboard, exactly what I was talking about around the arc, Tom. And connect on the side, and this would be a Cinderella story, if you will. Kicking this from 50 metres out. The long-haired player there in the number 10. There, give me a head with hair, he says. Long, beautiful hair. The Des Moines Rooster, unnamed. Will he finish on left foot? If you don't mind, has it got the legs? Not quite. And through for a minor score, perhaps? No, didn't quite make it. But it is the end of a game. And what of an impressive game that is. Did impress me muchly. 11 goals, 8. The Roosters. Well, Minnesota thought they would have come to snuff the Rooster, but geez, the Roosters, the increment in their performance from the last time I saw them, Tom, is off the charts versus the Minnesota Freeze, who you've got to remember were very much a hybrid side today. They were a mix of Minnesota, Baton Rouge and Golden Gate. Des Moines had a few Seattle players in it, and this is what it's all about at the end. No matter what's gone down on the football field, the USAFL always displays this sportsmanlike conduct.
Yeah, that's what this is about. Division 4s are about getting the experience of this Nationals championships, meeting more people, learning the game. That's what this is about.
Well, that's what it's all about at these levels, but like I said, Tommy, and the other thing too, Tom, we're going to talk about just quickly is once upon a time back in the day when the Denver Bulldogs were actually dominating, I remember that back in the day where it used to be the American players that used to wear the tape, so commentators could actually identify. Well, in all due respect, commentators didn't really have to have the tape to know what it was all about. The switches being the tape is on the Australian players now.
Yeah, exactly.
Just another indicator. That's the way it was. Des Moines Roosters by daylight. The Griller with Tom Ellis is Doug Drinkwater from the AFL and umpiring. He's going to be joining me in the mic pretty soon and talking about fast tracking. That's all she wrote for now, Tom.
All right, now we got Nashville and Houston.
Okay.
Looking forward to this one.
Yeah, this is one we can back and forth with, particularly the teams. We've got a rest though, Tommy. Nashville, so D2. I've got some intel on these two sides too. Houston, Nashville, D2A.
Who's Tanya?
Tanya Fox. She's coming up at 3 p.m.
Yeah, me and her and
okay.
That's what it shows.
I'm not sure who Tanya is.